Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special broadcast of What's on Vince's Mind. As you know, at the end of the week, Jeff and myself cover the news, but today's only Tuesday, and I have a lot of things that I want to get off my chest. And quite frankly, I didn't think they could wait till Friday. So I want to discuss a few things today. We're going to send this out to everybody. I've not spoken to Jeff in advance, so Jeff doesn't even know what I want to talk about. But there are some things that need to be said and that need to be clarified that I want to talk about today. Jeff, how you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, this is like reverse where you have the topics and I don't, as to Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Dirt. So this will be interesting.
Well, Jeff, let me start. I'm going to start with small potatoes, okay? And it's just funny to me, bro. Bro, when I was working for TNA, as a consultant, I remember when they brought Rockstar Spud on the show. And I remember, like Matt Conway, who knows me, said, Vince, you're going to love this guy. You're going to love this guy. You're going to love this guy, right? So I had no idea who he is. They wanted to write him in the show. He had won that British boot camp. And they debut him on the show, bro. And like the first thing that I'm absolutely smacked across the face with is I thought the guy was very talented. I thought the guy got it without a shadow of a doubt. But, bro, he looked nothing like a rock star. There was no rock star. There was nothing rock star about the way they portrayed him on TV. With the bright suits and the bow tie at the time and the high hair, So I remember going back to TNA immediately, and I'm saying, you guys have to change his name. Rockstar Spud makes absolutely no sense. You've got to change his name, right? So, bro, of course, Dixie Carter comes back with, no, she wants to keep the name because there's stock in his name. Now, bro, let's just look at that for a second. Nobody in the United States knows who Rockstar Spud is at that point. Nobody. If he's got any stock with the name in the UK, don't you think his UK followers are going to watch Impact to see him on Impact regardless of what his name is? They're going to know in the UK that the guy won British boot camp, and whether you call him Rockstar Spud or Spud, they know that he's going to be on American television, right?
Same thing like with Paige. Her name wasn't Paige in the UK. It was, Brittany Knight or whatever. And now all our UK fans watch her in WWE.
Right. So, bro, what did they do? They never changed the name, and it never made any sense. And I got to be honest with you. I interviewed Spud last week, and I told him, I said, bro, I love you. You're over with me. You'll always be over. I think you're huge. But I think them not changing the name hurt you. I said, I really do, because never at any point, bro, did anything with his character have to do with being a rock star. So then, as I looked into it, when he was doing Rockstar Spud in the UK, bro, he had, a band with him, the girls, the groupies, security. It was a whole rock star gimmick. He came over here. It had nothing to do with Rockstar. He was the chief executive or whatever the name they gave him, to Dixie Carter, right? So then, bro, finally, how many years later? 2 years later, bro, 3 years later, they realize, oh, Rockstar Spud doesn't make any sense. Okay, bro? So, bro, I was bored the other night and there was nothing on TV. So I'm like, you know what? Let me check out the last episode of Impact, because I haven't seen it in so long. Let me check it out and see what they're doing. Okay, bro? I put on the episode of Impact, and the main event is Austin Aries and Rockstar Spud. And, bro, you know what the stakes are for the match?
I didn't see it.
Austin Aries is putting up his TNA World, I guess it's an X Division title, whatever champion he was. X Division title, I think. He was putting up his title, and Rockstar Spud was putting up the moniker Rockstar. So in other words, if Spud wins the match, he gets Aries' title. If Aries wins the match, he gets the use of Rockstar. Bro, have you ever heard of anything more ridiculous in your entire life? I got to tell you, bro, as soon as I heard that and the stupidity of that angle, I shut the show off right there because I realized if this is what the main event is built around, a guy is actually putting up his belt in order to win a name. This is absolutely ridiculous, bro. And I got to tell you something with this John Gaborik, and I've taken it easy on John Gaborik. I really, really have, bro. But when you look at where TNA was when Gaborik was hired, and you look at where TNA is right now, somebody needs to tell me like whose fault that is. You know, you could blame Dixie Carter all you want, but Dixie Carter was there from day one. Dixie Carter was there when at some point we were doing 2 million people. When you look at when Gaborik was hired and Jarrett was still working there and Eric was still working there, where they were at that point to where they are today, I have no idea how this guy is getting off so scot clean, scot fresh, no heat, nobody saying anything about the guy. And this is the guy that has to approve Austin Aries is putting up his title to get to use the name Rockstar.
Could you imagine Ronda Rousey putting her belt on the line for a nickname?
Bro, and then we want to get back to Dana White referring to it as fake and everybody in the wrestling business throwing a hissy fit. Can you imagine if Dana White, first of all, Dana White probably doesn't even know what TNA is, but can you imagine if by some chance the guy was watching this? I did read something this week. I don't know if you saw it about somebody has called out Gaborik. Did you get to see that? I did see that a little bit. Yeah, about the MVP thing and everything like this, bro.
Yeah.
I don't care what. Listen, everybody hates me, okay, in the internet wrestling community. And bro, I'm telling you, when TNA goes out of business, I will somehow be woven into their story that I was the cause of it. Despite when I was there, we were doing 2 million people. And you know what, bro? That the 2 million people might have been the capacity. That might have been the tip of all TNA was capable of doing was 2 million people. And they were never happy with that. But somehow I'm going to get strung into that equation when the bottom line is, here's the bottom line. TNA went out of business the day John Gaborik decided to send home Eric Bischoff because Eric Bischoff was the executive producer of the show. Spike TV loved Eric Bischoff. Gaborik comes into TNA, and a month later, he's sending the guy that Spike TV loved home. That was the end of the relationship with Spike TV right there. It had nothing to do with Vince Russo. Nobody wants to report on that because they're already trying to figure out their angle of how was Vince Russo responsible for killing TNA when he hasn't worked full-time for the company since 2010, whenever it was.
I'm going to read you the quote. I just found it. Some of this stuff you've said in the past, but it's getting pressed with Court Bauer saying it. But I want to see if you fully agree with this. Court Bauer, who used to write for WWE, says TNA has made some very bad judgment calls for who they've hired on their executive team. They've had access to Jim Ross, Paul Heyman, and they've elected to go with people who are underqualified for the positions with significant responsibilities. John Gaborik never sat in on talent relations in any capacity. He was never in the department, never on the booking team, never sat in on a creative meeting or suggested a finish. He was kind of a second unit guy who would kind of coordinate the logistics, the audio and camera guys, and the ringleader of that stuff. Yet he was able to convince TNA he had done that, and he was qualified to lead those responsibilities as the head of talent relations and the head of their creative department, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Bingo, end of story. So how this guy has gotten off scot free, like I have no idea. I mean, it's a sham. Again, forget. Don't look at where they were when he got hired. Look at where he is now. Okay, somebody needs to be accountable for that. Okay, let me talk to you about what I really want to talk about. My case and point. Okay, Jeff, I gotta say this. Let me say this first of all. I write for Chair Shot Reality every Wednesday and Saturday. And bro, every Tuesday night and every Friday night, I'm fretting, bro, because there is nothing to talk about. There is nothing going on in professional wrestling to warrant me writing a column about 2 days a week. So I start thinking about it at night, and I think to myself, I'm gonna go to bed, and hopefully I'll wake up in the morning with something to think about. Maybe God during the night will put some nonsense in my head. Okay. So, bro, 99% of the time, I have to find something to write about, or else I'm not going to be able to earn my income to write for them twice a week. Okay. So this past weekend, bro, there was nothing to write about. Okay. So what I thought I'd write about was my innermost feelings of why the Piper situation affected me so much. And it was because we lost a great performer. There was some bittersweetness there for me because I was just able to establish a little bit relationship at the end. But also the fact that, bro, when Piper passed away, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Wrestling the way I know it will never be the same again. Never be the same again. And when you add up Savage, Warrior, Dusty, Piper, it will never be the same again. And that's what I was really dealing with. So the first sentence in the column is professional wrestling is dead. And then I immediately said after that, people of my generation, they have to realize it's never going to be the same again. Now, bro, to me, growing up, the first time I watched professional wrestling, Jeff, was probably 72 or 73 when I was 11 or 12 years old. Okay. From that moment all the way through to 2000. Okay, all the way through, there were three things that made up professional wrestling. Three things: wrestling matches, storylines, and characters. So in other words, Jeff, from the time I'm 11 or 12 all the way to 15 years ago when I'm 40 years old, okay? So from 12 to 40 for 28 years, that's what I grew up on. Wrestling matches, storylines, and characters. And Jeff, let me tell you this, bro, because people always, somebody was arguing with me yesterday. People that put words in my mouth, pardon my French, God, I'm sorry, can kiss my ass. I'm sick and tired of people putting words in my mouth. Because somebody made the comment yesterday that, I'm always putting over how great it was when I wrote the Attitude Era, and wrestling was great then, and it sucks today, bro. I can't tell you how many times I've said the era that I grew up on was better than the Attitude Era. I enjoyed it more, bro. WrestleMania years 1 through 5. When I was a fan, bro, I was at WrestleMania 4 and 5. I went to Atlantic City as a fan. And I've said many times, those early WrestleMania years when Vince was on top of his game, Pritchard was there. I give Bruce credit. Patterson was doing a lot of that stuff. That was better than the Attitude Era. That stuff influenced me. So people wanting to think that, all I put over was the Attitude Era because I wrote it, they can absolutely kiss my ass. Because I've said numerous times, the early days of WrestleMania were better. Okay? So, bro, I'm raised my whole life with wrestling matches, storylines, and characters. Those three things equal professional wrestling. Okay? Look at the show today. Those three things do not exist. There is wrestling on the shows. There are no characters and there are no storylines. So as far as I'm concerned, the form of professional wrestling that my age group grew up on, my era grew up on, that is dead. It is absolutely dead. And I got to tell you something. Justin LaBar, kind of wrote a rebuttal yesterday. He's at Chair Shot Reality, rebuting what I said. And basically, he was saying wrestling, hasn't died. It has evolved. No, bro, wrestling hasn't evolved. Wrestling has gone backwards. It has not gone forwards. It has gone backwards. It has eliminated entertainment. It has eliminated characters. All you have are wrestling matches. That's not evolvement. That's going backwards, bro. That's going backwards to the days of when they were a sideshow at Carnival. Two guys would wrestle to draw people.
It's devolving.
It's devolving. I got to get LaBar on this show because he needs to explain to me how it's evolved. It is devolving. It is not in any way, shape, or form evolving or going forward. Okay. So, bro, I write this column, okay? And let me tell you something, bro. On Saturday, right? I went out with my wife all day on Saturday. I wrote the column. They put the column on. I went and I was spent the whole day Saturday. Bro, I come home on Saturday and I am bombarded on Twitter with hate mail, people cussing at me, people calling me names, bombarded. And I'll tell you this right now, bro, every single one of them were blocked. It took me an hour to get every single one of those scumbags that personally attacked me, but every single one of them got blocked. And like I said, bro, people say, oh, I can't take criticism. No, I could take all the criticism in the world. You cross that line and start personally attacking me, kiss my ass. End of story. Because you know what that is? That's a level of immaturity. That's that you can't win an argument unless you're a shithead, you're an a-hole, you're this, you're that. That's your way of winning an argument, okay, bro? Which goes back to why all my critics will never come on this show. Because if they meet me face to face, I will chew them up and absolutely spit them out. Which is why when I'm asked to go on their show, when Piper picked up the phone and called me, there was no question in my mind. Yes, Roddy, I will come on your show. Whatever you have to say about me, I promise you there will be a good reason for why I did everything I do. And once I explain it to you, you'll understand. Okay, bro, Flair has got in touch with me in the last couple of days and asked me to go on his show. I don't know where Ric Flair sits with me these days. You know what I said? No problem, Rick. I'll come on your show. I don't run and hide from anybody. Okay, bro? But here's the thing. So, bro, I get all this hate mail. You're an a-hole. You're a shithead. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an old man. You're irrelevant. You're this, you're that. All these things, bro. Every one of these people blocked, forget. But, bro, here's the scary thing, Jeff. I got to tell you something, bro, because it scares the hell out of me. I'm blocking them one by one. And, bro, you know, like when you set up Twitter, you got your profile picture and then you got the gimmick in the back. Okay? Bro, I swear to you, 90% of the people that I blocked on Saturday were freaking kids. They were kids, bro. Their pictures, they were teenagers. They were people who, number one, don't even have a clue to who Vince Russo is or what Vince Russo did. And number two, couldn't even understand what I was talking about because they have no knowledge whatsoever of what that wrestling business was like. No knowledge, no understanding, nothing, bro. So they were children literally attacking and cussing out a guy old enough in many occasions, probably to be their grandfather. And two, they absolutely could not have a clue to what I was talking about because they could not have experienced that type of wrestling. Because let me tell you something, bro. There is nobody on the face of this planet that can watch wrestling last night and go back and start where I did in 1972 and 73 and go all the way to 2000 and tell me it's better. If you think it's better in the last 15 years, you're out of your freaking mind, bro. It's not even close. And I'm not talking about the Attitude Era. I'm talking about pre-WrestleMania, bro. I'm talking about Bruno Sammartino when the Garden used to sell out, and people would go absolutely nuts for Bruno. I'm talking about Zbyszko and Bruno selling out, Shea Stadium because there was a personal issue that was built up between these two guys. These punk kids don't even have a clue to what I'm talking about, bro, that they're writing me all of a sudden. And here's another thing, Jeff. Let me tell you something, because I did the math this morning. I love the fact, bro. Here's the fact that I love. That Triple H is going online tooting his horn that they sold out the Barclays Center 13,000 tickets. Okay? And I love the fact, bro, that those same imbeciles are still emailing me, "Oh, Vince, wrestling's dead. They sold out the Barclays Center 13,000 tickets." Let me explain something to people. Okay? Wrestling today, the WWE today, bro, is at about a 2.5, which equals 3.5 million people a week watching the show. That's what a 2.5 is about, the equivalent of 3.5 million people watching the show. Okay, bro, when the ratings were 6s and 7s and even an 8, we're talking about, bro, 6-7 million people watching on a Monday night. So when you do the math, bro, and you take as an average, say 6.5 people, and you subtract the 3.5 people, the 3.5 million people that are still watching, bro, you've lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 million people a week.
I would say even more than that, because what we failed to consider is at that time, during the Attitude Era, when the WWF had those ratings that you're just speaking about, WCW still had higher ratings than the WWE has now in second place. Exactly. So there's more people watching the second show than there is watching the only show today.
Exactly, bro. The audience combined, because and this was before we peaked. I remember Kevin Dunn. I was standing right there, bro, when Nitro and Raw started. And this is at the beginning, Jeff. This is at the beginning. When Nitro and Raw started their war, I remember Kevin Dunn saying to Vince, "I never in my wildest dreams thought 10 million people would be watching wrestling on a Monday night." Okay, 10 million people. Okay, we have 3.5 million people today. What that means, Jeff, is I'm not a mathematician. 6.5 million people have gone bye-bye. 6.5 million people. And selling 13,000 tickets is a victory, bro, to Brooklyn, New York, bro, where every smart mark in the freaking country lives. In the tri-state area, the ECW people, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. And they sold 13,000. And we're going to celebrate that when we've lost 7 million people. And bro, losing 7 million people does not equate to professional wrestling is dead. And here's the thing, Jeff. Here's the thing that really pisses me off, okay? You can go back and listen to any one of my broadcasts. Any one of my broadcasts. Number one, I never, ever, very rarely, once in a blue moon, I don't even remember doing it, criticize the talent and their effort in the ring. If anything gets criticized, it's the way the match is laid out, which is the job of the agents, not the wrestlers. So yes, I am taking my shot at the Mercuries and the Nobles of the world who have no business being agents for the WWE. Period. End of story. Okay, not when you guys like not like when you got guys like Bret Hart, sitting on the sideline. Okay, bro. Sorry. No, they have no bid. Maybe independently, yes. WWE, no. So when I criticize the way a match is laid out, it's not the talent. Okay, it's the agents laying out the match. Number two, I very, very rarely criticize an idea. I never criticize, oh, that was a bad idea. That idea sucked. That was a stupid idea. I never criticize that. I criticize the effort of the creative team, that every week the show looks the same. It's a cookie cutter show. They're eating up minutes with long drawn out wrestling matches. And since I started this show from day one, I've been calling out the creative team to up their game. Try harder. Put effort into what you're doing. And let me tell you something, bro. People are going to criticize me for that. People are actually going to sit there and watch that show and tell me, a guy that sat in creative for almost 2 decades, are going to tell me that was their best effort and that they gave the fans 100% this week. You're going to tell me that? So, but before you criticize me about the wrestling's dead, understand what the frig I'm talking about. Understand what wrestling used to be. Understand the decrease in the audience, and understand I am not even criticizing talent or ideas. I am criticizing effort. And part of the effort is the way it is because of exactly what I said yesterday. Triple H and Stephanie are not going to hire anybody that is going to challenge them. They want to be in complete control of that company. They want to have yes men, and they don't want to have anybody around whatsoever that's going to challenge them. When you don't have people in your company that challenge you, it is going to be milky white vanilla, same old crap every week, and you're going to lose more and more people. Now, I got to tell you something, Jeff. We're going to talk about the Attitude Show. Okay? We're going to talk about the Attitude Show, and people that don't subscribe to it, you're really missing something, because I'm learning a lot looking at these Attitude Shows. But I got to tell you something, Jeff, that's very pertinent. I watched the Jim Cornette commentary on this edition of Raw. Okay, bro, it is a 100% shot at me, no doubt about it. See, Jim Cornette still believes, like, when you call a New Yorker a Yankee, that they get upset by that. Meanwhile, hello, Jim. We have a baseball team that's been called the Yankees since 1910. We really don't take offense to the word Yankee, but Cornette's still convinced when you call a New Yorker a Yankee, that's like using the N-word. That's what the guy thinks, Jeff.
If you want to insult him, call him a Met.
Yeah, exactly, bro. But here's my point, Jeff. I gotta make this point, because the people that aren't subscribers, they're not going to hear this, and they have to hear it, bro. I'm watching Jim Cornette, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, oh, my God, am I becoming Jim Cornette? Vince, you please stop doing this before you become Jim Cornette, before you start ranting and raving about today's product, because, bro, he sounded like an absolute idiot. And I'm saying, Vince, please don't come Jim. But, bro, here's the difference, Jeff. Here's the difference. When Cornette was ranting and raving about the good old days and what wrestling should be, okay, that was from a personal viewpoint, because unfortunately, Jim, the ratings at that very moment were starting to climb to an all-time high. All you have to do, bro, is look at the people inside of the Nassau Coliseum that night. So in other words, Jim's whole defense was, and his whole promo was personal. I want wrestling to be this way. Not, he took his shot at, Eric Bischoff, and he took his shot as the Yankee from New York. I don't want it to be this way. It's not wrestling anymore. Wrestling is two guys in the ring wrestling. Well, unfortunately, Jim, The ratings were going up at the time. Up at the time. Jeff, that's the difference between now and then. I am on my soapbox because we've lost over 7 million people. If Vince Russo was on his soapbox and the ratings were going up, Vince Russo's a jackass. He's an absolute idiot. He's irrelevant. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We've lost 7 million viewers as an industry and much more than that, bro. I told you the 10 million was at the beginning of the Monday Night Raw Wars, not where it was 2 years after that. We've lost 7 million people, and Triple H is going to celebrate selling 13,000 tickets to a bunch of smart wrestling fans. And that's going to send the message to everybody that wrestling isn't dead. Where's my bag?
It's a different time, Vince. Different time.
Jeff, I'm watching that show yesterday and I'm thinking about the different time. And I'm watching that show last night. And again, I'm still trying to make sense out of, okay, it's a different time. It's 15 years later. Why couldn't good television can't be repeated because it's 15 years later?
It's just, I mean, I know we've covered this before. It's just an excuse that they want to talk about all the options and blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the deal. People will watch the best options. It doesn't matter how many options there are. The best ones are the ones that are going to get watched. People writing The Walking Dead, #1 show in the country. Everybody watches it. Doesn't matter what demographic you are. They're not sitting there using an excuse. Well, it's a different time. There's a lot of options, so we're just going to do a lackluster product. The best product's going to get watched. And if wrestling was written the way it has been in the past, it would be watched. I have no doubt about that. No doubt.
Well, Jeff, I just had to say that. And I had to say before you, first of all, if you're going to hate me because I'm telling the WWE to try harder for their fans, you're an absolute idiot, because that's what my message is. My message is we want to watch this. 7 million people have walked away. You need to figure out why, and you need to fix that so we can bring those people back and we can once again celebrate the genre of professional wrestling like it was once celebrated. Trust me, bro, if ratings were up and instead of 10 million people watching the show, 15 million people were watching the show, then yes, Vince Russo is an a-hole. Vince Russo is an imbecile. Vince Russo is irrelevant. Vince Russo is all those things. But like I said, bro, it's wrestling, characters, storylines. That 40 years, that's what it was. Okay, somehow, some way, somebody thought they had to change the formula so we can go from 10 million people a week down to 3.5 million, and it's going to be okay because we just sold 13,000 tickets at the Barclays Center.
You know, and a lot of rebuttal towards that I saw anyway was, well, WrestleMania sets attendance records every year. They're going to sell out Dallas and all this stuff. Well, here's the deal with that. People come from everywhere to go to that. They're not selling out that area. People come from all over the world, all over the country. So to get 70, 80,000 people from the entire world into one building doesn't signify that it's this great, thing. When Detroit sold out WrestleMania 3, how many of those people came from around the world? I don't know the figures, but I would bet that most of them people from the area are from America. So the fact that you're selling 70, 80,000 seats with the entire world coming of wrestling fans that are going to watch regardless, that's not a feat. Get the people to watch that you used to have watch. Get the people to watch that watch good television. That's when you can say wrestling is peaking again.
That's right, Jeff, and nobody's denying that nobody's saying the WWE is losing money and they're not a successful company. Nobody is. I know they're making money. First of all, let's be clear about something, Jeff. They're making money because there's no other product out there. Like, can we be clear about that? If you want to watch wrestling, your choices are pretty much the WWE. So let's make that perfectly clear. Because when there was competition on Monday nights and there was Nitro, they were in the crapper. Because I was there. I was working for them. They were in the crapper when there was another choice. A Dixie Carter run company is not another choice. A Dixie Carter run company is a joke. So let's first say that, bro. They're making money out the wazoo because, quite frankly, number one, there's nothing else to watch. Number two, bro, the point is, how much could they be making if they were doing it the right way? And I've said here myself, I was there at WrestleMania weekend, and I put them over. They've turned WrestleMania into the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter what the card is. With the marketing and the promotion and the dollars they kick into that, bro. I was in the town. It was unbelievable, the job they did. I was so impressed seeing it with my own two eyes. But, bro, that's marketing and promotion for one show over the course of an entire year. Okay? I'm talking about the week-to-week product that, it is turned into one big cookie cutter, and it's the same exact show every week. And fans that are wrestling, if you want to criticize me and you don't want the WWE to try harder, then you're not a wrestling fan. If you don't want it to get better, and if you don't want more people to watch it, then you're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I've used this example before. Some of our new viewers may not have heard it, but I went to a house show in 1998 in Buffalo, New York. I bought tickets the day of the show. 300 level, 2 rows from the top. Sold out, house show. Okay, you go to a house show today, 4,000 fans, 5,000 fans, 6,000 fans. If wrestling was evolving and becoming better, why is the arenas for a house show less than half full? It does not compute. You know what I mean? When people wanted to go see the house shows, even though they knew it wasn't on TV, and we're sitting 2 rows from the top because the place is full, that is when wrestling is peaking. That's when wrestling is evolving. When you're down to 4,000 fans and John Cena's on the show, that's devolving. That's not where, like you were saying, how much money could they be making if they were getting more fans to these house shows or merchandise, and it all piles up.
And then let me tell you this too, Jeff. Here's another thing that the shots they like taking lately. That I'm burying a product and I'm crucifying a product that I'm still trying to make money off of. Let me make one thing perfectly clear to everybody out there. Okay, I make money off of Vince Russo. That's who I make money off of. I make money off of my personality and the things that I say because I'm not afraid to say anything. Okay, I make money off of how hard I work, how hard Jeff works at, how hard everybody in the brand works. I make money off of doing 3 interviews a week and combing the Twitter all week long, every week to book those interviews. My God, if the wrestling business was even halfway decent, do you know how much money I'd be making right now? I got to scrap and save for every penny because the wrestling business sucks. So to say that I've made my choice to make a living off of the wrestling business, you're out of your freaking mind. I've made my choice to make a living off of Vince Russo. I depend on Vince Russo. But do I get hot because, being that wrestling sucks, it does affect my livelihood at the end of the day? Absolutely I do. Absolutely, I do. We're supposed to start a show, Jeff and myself, on iHeartRadio, a wrestling show. What am I going to go on there and talk about if wrestling sucks? What am I supposed to talk about? So the fact that you say, "Oh, I'm making money off of wrestling, and I'm using wrestling to make me a living," give me a freaking break, bro. Why do you think we branch out and we're bringing comedians and musicians and people of different walks of life? I mean, for crying out loud, I'm interviewing Kurt Angle's wife and Mick Foley's son last week. Why do you think we're doing that? That's me making money off the wrestling business? No, it's because the wrestling business stinks. And I DVR'd the show yesterday, Jeff, because I'm like, let me keep an eye on it, even though we're not talking about it today. And Jeff, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. We said the same thing when we watched last week's show.
Well, it's a a domino effect with the WWE's audience, because the more people that watch WWE, the more people are going to go on the internet to research it. The more people are going to go to wrestling websites. The more people that are going to come visit our site, watch our shows. The more people that are going to go watch independent shows, which means there's more jobs available for wrestlers. They're making more money. The gates are making more money. So everything streamlines from how many people are watching the WWE. And what a lot of people that defend the current direction of the product don't understand is that's hurting the financials of everybody involved in wrestling from top to bottom, because they are limiting the customer base for everybody by going to the niche audience. When you try to attract the masses, a word you use all the time, attract the masses, like this has come out of your mouth, we can watch it hundreds of times. The wrestling fans are going to watch anyway. So get as many people to watch as you can. There's more people to buy your shirts that want to go see local wrestling. It's just more money for everybody, depending on how many watches WWE. It's always been that way. And I just wish people would understand that we're not crapping on wrestling to crap on it. The numbers speak for themselves. If you do the three things that you spoke about, wrestling, characters, storylines, correctly, with effort, the fans are going to come back. There's going to be a lot more money for everybody and a lot more interest in professional wrestling.
Yeah, well, I got to save some of my energy, Jeff, because now we have to go and we have to look at the December 29th, 1997 Attitude. And I DVR the current product. I sit there and I DVR. Bro, I'll tell you exactly what's going to be. Opening promo. There's going to be some type of a girl match, with the three teams. So it's going to be some kind of a different pairing. From there, we're going to throw multiple tag teams, in a match. We're going to do that from there, and then we're probably going to end it with a main event that we've seen 5 times before, and we know what the ending is going to be. Boom, and the Rusev segment. It's been that literally for the last 3 months. Well, I don't want to say that. Since the girls came on the scene, it's been a good month now. That has been the formula for the last month. And then people talk about, Kevin Owens is over. Kevin Owens is over. Owens is over. Yeah, Kevin Owens is over to the point that they can't even put him over in a 3-way, bro, where he can get the main event against Rollins on television, where there is at least a small question mark of who's going to win the match.
And for those that may not know what Vince was talking about with the Attitude Show, VIP members, we do this every other week. We're going through the entire Attitude Era of Raw episodes that Vince was writer on, and we are reviewing them from top to bottom. And the one we're doing today is December 29th, 1997. It has that Jim Cornette promo that Vince was talking about. This is in the episode, so I'm curious to find out. Vince is writing the show. This is a shot directly at Vince Russo. How did this get on the show? So we're going to cover that for VIPs. But it's a very in-depth look at the Attitude Era from one of the guys that wrote it. You're not going to get this stuff anywhere else. All you have to do is go to VinceRussoBrand.com, click the red subscribe button, fill everything out, and you can get all that stuff today. So please check us out.
And also this week too, I want to point out, Jeff, we've got the interviews with Gunner, where we talk about, you know, how his release from TNA came about, and also a great interview with Blue Meanie. Great interview. We talk about so many things. That's also this week for the premium members, of course. And I'm gonna say this too now: Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Dirt is not going to be a free show anymore. That's going to go back to being, it's going to be a premium show just for the brand, and also Bucket Full of Chicken Necks, premium show just for the brand. So again, $1.25 a week. I think we, I think we give more than our share. And Jeff, you did a great breakdown of all the programming we do every single week. It's up on our site now, where you can actually see the free content, the hours of free content we give away a week, and also in conjunction with that, the hours of premium content. Were you just pulling that up?
Yeah, I haven't seen it on the site yet, so I'm okay. Pulling it up right now.
Yeah, because Jeff, I want these guys that are going online that do podcasts that keep reminding us that their 45-minute a podcast a week is free. The 45 minutes that they give us. How many hours of free content do we give away a week?
Anywhere from 4.5 to 6.5 video hours for free.
Okay, 4.5 to 6.5 video hours for free every single week. So the next time you think you're getting 45 minutes for free and you're getting something, I recommend you take advantage of the 6.5 hours of video interviews that we're giving you on the brand. Anything else you want to say about that, Jeff? Because you putting those numbers together really opened up my eyes.
Well, just reach out on Twitter to current members of the brand and get their input on why they're members every single month. They're getting a bonus 5 to 6 free video hours of content. Not free, that's the membership added to the free by being members, including all the video interviews, including the Raw review, including the Attitude Era review, and Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. So combined with our premium content and our free content, you can get anywhere from 9 to 12, 13 hours of content, all video, from VinceRussoBrand.com a week. So, reach out to other members. The members of the brand, if you want to, send us testimonials for people to read, I'm sure we could do something with that. But, it's a fun group. And when I see the members of the brand interacting with each other on Twitter, it's really cool because they help us with our content, and it's becoming a big family. There's so much more beyond the 6 hours of free content we do a week. So I hope everybody gets to check.
And not only that, Jeff, I'll say it again to end this show because we're going to go do our Attitude show. I've made the money back guarantee offer. Money back guarantee. If you can find any website out there under the wrestling umbrella that gives you the content we do and the video interviews and the 3 interviews a week, I'll give you a membership absolutely free. You show me the website that's doing that, and I will give you a membership to the brand absolutely free. I cannot do anything more than that. Jeff, I got to go get a cup of coffee. I got to go get my brown paper bag because I need to. I've been hyperventilating during this. We're gonna post this a little later on for everybody to see. For the members of the brand, you'll have the Attitude review. Sometime today, once we shoot it, once we process it, once Realm puts it up. But until then, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the rebound.